VGK goaltender coach Sean Burke. How does he decide who starts in net? And does he favor one goaltender over the other? Plus, much, much more right here on today's edition, the WTF edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thank you so much for making us your first listen every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast, and please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. It's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. As we know, Chris, Bruce Cassidy does all the talking for VGK assistant coaches, and this primarily because the front office doesn't want the media talking and asking questions to the assistants, like goaltending coach Sean Burke. So we have to sort of fill in the blanks a lot of time on this program. We wonder why goalies get starts, how that's determined. Does Cassidy, in fact, really leave the call for who gets the starting nod in the crease entirely up to Sean Burke? A question that we would ask is, does only Burke make the decision on who starts? What about technique? Does Cassidy do anything with the goaltenders, or is that all on Sean Burke?
I think as far as starting and stuff like that and rotation, I would probably go like 80% Sean Burke and 20% maybe Cassidy asking Sean Burke why something is happening, but it's definitely Sean Burke pulling the strings. As far as technique, I've never seen Cassidy with the goalies like at the end of a practice, getting out on the crease, showing them how to get in their butterfly and stuff like that. So that's certainly not Cassidy's area of expertise. And this isn't a knock on Cassidy right now. Let's be clear about this. Cassidy believes each of his assistants have roles, and he lets them do their roles, and he trusts what their decisions are. Are they the right decisions? I'm sure we'll certainly dive into that a little bit right now.
Okay. Burke this past season had 2.5 goaltenders to work with. In the championship or the cup season, you like that, he had Hill, Thompson, Jonathan Quick, Larry Brossois, and the other guy, Patera. So the depth of VGK's goaltenders definitely paid dividends a season ago.
Yeah, and just I think one thing that's important as we're talking about Sean Burke and the rotation and stuff, Sean Burke's only job with the Golden Knights is not to coach the goalies and advise Coach Cassidy on how to rotate the goalies. Sean Burke's job also is to scout the other team's goalie and to basically prepare, whether it's footage, a video review, a PowerPoint presentation, whatever it might be. Sean Burke also scouts the other goaltenders, and Sean Burke got a ton of credit from Coach Cassidy leading up to the 2023 Stanley Cup final. Of course, Sean Burke was instrumental in basically finding holes in Sergei Bobrovsky's game, which led to the Golden Knights scoring at will in the 2023 Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, the Golden Knights, or in this case, the goalie Knights, they play in a system, right, in which the defense bails out the goaltenders for the most part. This zone defense, it's designed more or less to push the shots to the outside. Let's talk about this more or less goaltender friendly system, if you will, for VGK.
That's Cassidy. Cassidy has implemented a defense that hopefully limits odd man rushes from the opposition and rush chances where a high percentage of goals are scored. Cassidy's system also leaves the goalie to fend for themselves sometimes when big teams like the Dallas Stars decide to put someone like Jamie Benn, or the Oilers decide to put someone like Evander Kane in front of the net. It's the goalies against the world right there. So that's certainly maybe a concern of Cassidy's goalie-friendly system. But generally put, and this also was on display last year because the Golden Knights did use 4.5 goalies last year, Tony. All the goalies did have success. Even Yuri Patera had success during last
You're
year's
like
regular season.
2.5 goalies. I knew you'd like that.
I mean, other guy, 2.5, however you want to say it. But Cassidy's system certainly worked a lot better last season. And you would think, and this is, I know, where we go back to this chemistry drama that I'm sick of, but you would think that the system would have been equal to or greater this year because, well, we got that Noah Hannafin dude who he's pretty good. He's pretty good. But the defense did have chemistry issues. That's what the reality was. And maybe it wasn't as much the defense as much as it was the forwards, making it a little more difficult on the defense. I don't know.
I still get nervous. And I talked about this in the playoffs. And I said, the longer that this series goes, the less amount of trust I would have in Logan Thompson. And then the next game, they pull Thompson. I get
Cassidy and
nervous
Burke were watching that show.
Yes, for sure. I get nervous with Thompson and net. I think he's more acrobatic, right? And I think Hill has better technique. And last night on the pregame show, Wayne Gretzky said that Hill doesn't swim all over the place, which I thought was the best description I've heard of Aiden Hill. So in the mind, because we can't talk to Sean Burke, but in the mind, as if we go and delve into Sean Burke's mind, in his mind, is Hilly number? Did I say Hilly? I did that intentionally. Okay, is Hill number 1 and Thompson 2? How would he rank them, perhaps?
Oh, it's definitely Hill is number 1. There's no doubt in my mind that Hill is number 1. But back to the technique, the difference between Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson. Logan Thompson looks a lot more like Marc-Andre Fleury. Uses his strength and his feet to get across the crease and relies maybe on his reaction speed to make a lot of saves and stuff like that. Whereas Aiden Hill, when things are going well, Aiden Hill is very calm, cool, and collective back there and doesn't move a whole lot. It's kind of like Robin Leonard, but obviously a much better version of Robin Leonard that actually can move around and get up and down. Logan Thompson, something he does just as good as any goalie in the National Hockey League is he gives 100,000% on every single shot, every single opportunity. And the way he sells out to make a save that you don't think he possibly can is really fun to watch when you're at T-Mobile Arena. The second part of Sean Burke, trust. Okay, so where I was going to go with this now, the question was, does Sean Burke favor one goalie? And the answer is 100,000%. Aiden Hill is the favorite goalie in this system. Simply put, because Aiden Hill had numerous consecutive starts when both goalies were healthy, he and Logan Thompson. On the other side of that, Logan Thompson did not get a consecutive start when Aiden Hill was healthy during the regular season. That took until the playoffs, basically until the point in which Coach Cassidy had no choice.
My only criticism with the goaltender situation with VGK might be that they tend to stick with the goaltender who has the hot hand and perhaps sometimes too long.
I mean, I don't think that's a criticism. I think anyone will do that. But I think the long runs that we saw Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson have during the season, they weren't the hot goalie. Logan Thompson's longest run came, I want to say, in January. And you had Yuri Patera back there. And it got to the point where anyone who watches hockey, has the basic level of hockey knowledge, could tell you Logan Thompson was tired out there. He was tired out there. He was given everything he had, but dude was tired. End of story. You got Yuri Patera, who, by the way, only appeared in the VGK net 6 times, 5 starts throughout last season, with 2 goalies with health issues throughout the season. So that's the concern. Now, Aiden Hill, same deal. After Logan Thompson's, did I say Logan Hill? After Logan Thompson's long stretch, Aiden Hill got a long stretch. And the reason why was, well, Coach Cassidy said he got to see Logan Thompson be the man for a little while. Now he wants to see Aiden be the man for a little while. I think that stretch hurt both of the goalies as far as long term. I don't think Logan had any notable injuries. Aiden Hill obviously was injured even up into the playoffs. He all but said as much during the exit interviews. So that's where the concern with the goaltending situation comes up. And obviously Sean Burke is the one pulling the strings. It's commonly known, depending on who you talk to, people I've talked to within and around the team, There's concern about Logan Thompson in this organization. He doesn't necessarily see eye to eye with Sean Burke. There's some other concerns, maybe attitude and stuff like that, and internal things. So you wonder how that plays out right now with the situation and Logan Thompson not getting as many starts as Aiden Hill.
So it would be on Sean Burke and Cassidy to say that Yuri Patera, the other guy, is not ready for playing under the lights in the
No.
big situations. Trust level is what, about 0%?
Trust level is about 0, and I don't think Yuri Patera. I mean, what I say in yesterday's show, 2.5 starts or something like that for my over under, and there's a good chance it goes under.
I had 5.5.
I mean, Yuri Patera, no disrespect to him, it's just, I mean, his stats don't necessarily paint a picture of an NHL ready goalie. Now, who knows if he would have got 10 to 15 opportunities last season, how he would have responded. He would have improved. The Silver Knights weren't a good team by any means. They couldn't make the playoffs in a division where 7 of the 10 teams qualify for the playoffs, or at least a play-in type of scenario. So what does that tell you about the Silver Knights season? And of course, we've talked, like Monday, we hit on the Silver Knights as well. So Patera really didn't get a chance to show what he was capable of at the national level. We'll see if that happens next year. But I mean, I don't know, maybe something for the napkin. I think we might have hit the subject a little bit, but I don't think any of the 3 most senior goalies in the organization are the long-term goalies as far as the Vegas Golden Knights are concerned.
Coming up next, some key dates ahead in the offseason, plus our look at the NHL playoffs. It's all ahead. And later on, it's WTF on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. We want to tell you today that we are brought to you by FanDuel. Winner take all time in the NBA and the NHL. And FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win that you could have on your own. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on point spreads, on money lines, on player props, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon today and make every playoff shot count. Shoot your shot on FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Back on this WTF edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Please be safe out there this Memorial Day weekend, because we need you back, and we need you to subscribe, if you haven't yet, to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel, where tomorrow
we're nearing 1,700. We're nearing 1,700.
We get the Chris and Chris Jr. show, the YouTube exclusive. And then, of course, every Friday, like today, is WTF. And if you have not noticed, these are our dog days of summer already for us on this show, because it's like everyday grind, no playoffs for VGK, a lot of napkin notes, and we appreciate everyone tuning in.
I feel like if the team announces like an intern hiring, we're going to do like a breaking news.
We're going to do that.
Yes,
a big story, and we'll do a background, and we'll ask whether Sean Burke favors that intern over another. Some key dates ahead for VGK and the National Hockey League. We had the draft lottery earlier this month on May the 7th. And then here in Las Vegas, the bright lights are all here this year. In a month's time, June 28th, we have the NHL Awards at the Fountain Blue, and the 28th and 29th, the entire league is here. The NHL draft will be at the Sphere. Is this going to be the last year where we have all of the NHL front offices in one place before, like, they move it remotely, which I don't.
Yeah,
really
they're decentralizing the draft, and all that. They're still going to do the spectacle and everything. All that's going to happen is you're not going to, like, if you're sitting up in the upper deck, you're not going to look down, or in the Sphere look way down. You're not going to be looking down and seeing McCrimmon and all the other GMs down there doing their thing and their big tables and such and running around and all that, which, I mean, I guess that adds a little bit to the spectacle, but let's face it, that's also probably 5,000 more tickets that can be sold in the dust.
Have you ever thought of going to the draft at the Sphere as a draftnik? Maybe go out there and put on your Chicago Blackhawks jersey and scream and yell? No?
Oh, okay. I was wondering where you're going with
that. You don't know what a draftnik is?
I mean, I got an idea what it is now, obviously, but if you
Just
want
a
to
fan that
educate me.
goes to the draft, a draft Nick. Okay, man, you're from a different generation, bro.
I never heard. I know it. I've never heard that terminology before. That's all.
Okay, would you go
I just
as
learned
a
a slap
fan?
shot was a clapper this year. So I mean, what the heck?
Would you go? Would you go
I'm not going to go with. I mean, I don't.
as a
Lowell
fan?
Chris has asked me about going and checking it out, but I mean, I thought the ticket's like 150 bucks or something like that. I don't see that type of value to go personally. That said, I mean, I would like to go and cover it to a degree. I know we're talking about a couple different angles of that, so we'll see if that would be my first trip to the Sphere. So we'll see if the stars align for that.
Okay. All of this leads up to July the 1st, the start of free agency. And the big news there is VGK has 6 UFAs this year. And so this is a busy time. After the holiday break here for this weekend, they don't celebrate Memorial Day in Canada. So I guess everyone's still working here at the front office. But what do you think is happening behind the scenes right now? There's a ton of work, right, going in to all of these key milestones ahead.
Oh, a lot of tire kicking right now. I mean, I know technically free agency doesn't start until July the 1st, which feels like forever and a day. But I can assure you conversations are being had. I can assure you that McCrimmon's probably fielding and making multiple calls to GMs and stuff like that, and just kind of seeing what the needs are, seeing if VGK has any needs, seeing if a need that VGK has their eye on might be coming available, through a trade or something like that. And there's all sorts of different ways that the Golden Knights are going to work this. But I can assure you that I don't think McCrimmon's golfing as much as and as much as the players and stuff right now. Put it to you like that.
What's the over under on whether or not, or how many nights, I should say, we'll see the made men at that little bar in the sports book at the Venetian putting down beers and trying to concoct some sort of deals?
Why you got something? Why are you saying the Venetian? You got something going on I don't know about?
Oh, no, because that's the entry into the Sphere. So that's where they're all going to be meeting.
Okay. All right.
Perhaps
I wasn't sure. I
the
was thinking
hotel.
maybe more or less like these negotiations are going to happen like a Dino's or something up by the Stratosphere in a quiet place like that.
Oh, the made men singing karaoke.
That's the place. I mean, I guess here's the over under maybe, Tony. Let's put this one out there right now. Amadio, Carrier, Mantha, Marchessault, Stevenson, Alec Martinez. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
That's what we
unrestricted free agents.
Yeah.
Over under number of unrestricted free agents that have a contract in place by July 1st. What's your number?
2. 1/3 of them will have 2 for sure.
1.5.
Okay.
And I'll take the under.
You'll take the under at 1.5. Okay.
I'll take the under.
I told you, an entirely new team. Last night we had game number 1 of the WCF. Connor McDavid in double OT. What a game that was. Dallas, as we mentioned yesterday, has now lost 7 consecutive playoff game 1s. They need to get
right
over
where they
that
want
hurt.
them.
And I think the winner at this stage of game 1, they said last night, wins close to, I think it was 68% or thereabouts. If you win game 1 at this juncture in conference finals, McDavid redeems himself because of the 4-minute double minor in OT, just 17 seconds in the first overtime. And that led to 5 shots on goal, 2 goals, goal post, I should say, for Robertson of Dallas. That was a crazy sequence there. The one shot went off the iron and went back through the legs of Skinner.
Wow.
5-hole, the reverse. What's the reverse 5-hole called?
I don't know, but I feel like let's coin that one because that could be fun. One thing I loved about that, so I didn't really get to watch until overtime. I was working, and then I was literally turning on my TV as I heard him say Connor McDavid redeemed himself. So that made me excited. Being a
Did
Connor
they say
McDavid,
that? I don't remember them. I just pulled that one out.
Oh yeah, they mentioned
they
that.
said redeemed. Okay,
they said redeemed himself, and I was happy that he got the game winner. But so my takeaway from that game was McDavid's post game interview. He comes in and first of all he says sorry for keeping everybody up so late, and then they asked him about the first opportunity he had where Ottinger made that stick save and the defender made a good play. And he said that puck has to go in. That puck has to go in. We should not have gotten to the second overtime. McDavid's takeaway from the game was not his game-winning goal. It was his lost opportunity in the first overtime. That's what McDavid's kicking himself about. Yeah, the Oilers won, and McDavid got the flowers when the dust settled. But I'll tell you right now, McDavid's pissed off, and that's going to make things a little difficult for the Dallas Stars. That was Connor McDavid's first ever and the Oilers, and as far as recent memory goes, their first Western Conference game victory. Last time they got swept by the Avalanche when the Avalanche won the Stanley Cup. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Maybe little Chris is right. Maybe little Chris is right about the Oilers making a run for the Cup.
And me about a Canadian team winning the Cup.
Maybe you're right too. Now I'm getting Chris gets the flowers there.
Oh man, come on! Mine was in the summer. In any event, yeah. The other thing,
6 opportunities. You didn't say Edmonton though.
What about? I said
you took the field. You took the northern field.
I did. The thing that stood out to me on the second, Tyler Seguin on his goal, the Donoff with the sneaky assist, which you only got on the replay. Holy smokes! Was that a play?
It was great.
Captain Donoff.
That's that's a learning moment also for people that coach hockey or people that have kids that play hockey. You look where Seguin is standing, right? He finds that soft spot. He's just moving in like a 2-foot circle, just waiting for the puck to find him. And like I tell Chris all the time, money zone. That's the money zone. You stay right there. That puck will find you. You will score goals if you do that. Doesn't matter if it's the 10 and under house league level like I coach, or if it's the National Hockey League or the American League or the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. Tony, there you go. Go to those soft spots and good things will happen. And I mean, yeah, that assist that Dodonov had was remarkable. Awesome.
And of course, Dodonov, that former Anaheim Ducks great, they are making his mark. This weekend, we've got a couple of games before we come back on Tuesday. We've got 2 games, I think, in each of the conference finals. So we've got a couple of games in the ECF. We've got, of course, the Rangers tonight at home. And
how do you feel about them? Are you nervous, Tony?
If Rempe plays, I won't be nervous. They just need some physicality. That's it. End of story. End of story. I'm not.
Here's the goon. Here's the desperate goon talk. Here's the desperate goon talk. This is Golden Knight fans. We need Revo back. That's why we're losing.
Okay, Rempe is in all due respect, Ryan Reeves.
You don't need to respect it.
And then we've got, of course, the series will shift to Sunrise, Florida. So Friday, Sunday there, and then Saturday, Monday, I believe, in the WCF. And we know that teams do let down some after they steal a first game on the road. So we'll have to see how things play out there.
I mean, I would hope to give credit that being the conference final that you button those things up, but it's just a human nature. I get that. And say it again, Chris Knobloch, maybe he's the man. I might have to get a Chris Knobloch poster in my office. He's getting it done. And
the Ranger fans, and anytime that any New York team plays in Miami and Southern Florida, this time it's in Sunrise. Huge fan support down there because a lot of the Goombas moved from the city down to Miami. Coming up next, it is WTF. What the Stinking Friday. What the Friday is next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. When you are hiring, you need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, Indeed's a powerful hiring platform that can help you to do it all. We streamline hiring with powerful tools that find you matched candidates. With Instant Match, over 80% of employers get quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job, and that's according to Indeed data in the U.S. And candidates that you invite to apply are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it on the search. So we get one step closer to the hire by immediately matching you with other quality candidates. Indeed's hiring platform matches you with quality candidates instantly. Even better, Indeed's the only job site where you only pay for applications that meet your must-have requirements. Indeed is unbelievably powerful. It's a great hiring platform. It delivers 4 times more hires, I should say, than all the other job sites combined. And that's according to Talent Nest. So start hiring now. You'll get a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/locked on. The offer is good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/locked on. Indeed.com/locked on. Terms and conditions apply. Remember, if you need to hire, you need Indeed. Back on this WTF edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. Or on Saturday morning, we'll get the Chris and Chris Jr. show. So is that post time for that? You like that post time? Because we like the ponies. For your show is approximately what? Pacific time? 9, 10? Are you going to let little Chris keep in?
It could publish as early as 8 a.m., as late as 11 a.m. It just kind of depends on what's going on in the Chris and Chris household on Saturday mornings. No plans that I'm aware of tomorrow. So once I get my coffee, once little Chris stops playing video games and stops playing his shinny hockey out in the living room, we'll get cooking.
Okay, WTF time. So I am going to start off by saying I will stick with my prediction of VGK over 3.5 new roster players from outside the organization. That was my prediction.
Over all day.
Yeah, that was my prediction earlier this week. When the puck drops next season, 3.5. We had to put the hook on there. 3.5 more players, new players. Roster implosion. What happens first? What happens first? I ask you, Mr. Chris Golick. The Tropicana Hotel implosion or the VGK roster implosion? WTF.
So you're saying I think they're imploding it in November is what I heard, Tony. So are you suggesting that next season something might happen after the season starts? That there's a sell-off?
It's all good. I just was trying to think of a recent implosion.
No, it's good. And I just drove by the Trop. I mean, I think they are imploding it. So I think the Golick household will be in attendance when that happens, depending.
Have you seen any hotel implosions live?
No, but Christopher can tell you what year, what hotel was replaced, what hotel went in its place. Chris can quote all these from probably the last 25 years.
Come on.
A dime. He has an obsession with learning about
hockey.
That. And what's that?
Oh,
hockey. Yeah, hockey too. But when the Fiesta by our house it wasn't imploded, but when it was torn down, he just took an interest in it and just started learning about it. And he's written books about it. He's written books about the Las Vegas casinos that have been imploded and the date it happened and what's been put in its place.
That's serious. I like that. My last major implosion, where I went to the implosion party out in I was out in the tent, but I know that I've got some asbestos particles in my system from the old Aladdin that they made, into Planet Hollywood, and they still WTF'd that up because they put the entrance on the backside of the hotel. All that. WTF.
That's pretty good. I'll start. This is a layup here. Everyone is so confident that VGK is going to have the result of a year in which they will come across as contenders for the Stanley Cup, and they very well might. They're entering the season as contenders. McPhee and McCrimmon won't have it any other way, but will the end results mirror that of a team that was contending for a Stanley Cup? I think there's a lot of questions, and we talked about that either late last week or earlier this week. Will the Golden Knights be contending? I put a poll up there on Twitter, and it was like 85-15 in favor of being a contending year. There's so many questions.
Induced Kool-Aid.
Yeah, no, it's the Kool-Aid people are gargling it right now. You mentioned, Tony, 3.5 new players from outside the organization, and there's so many questions right now, and I hope they contend. I hope we're not doing shows May 24th next year, and where the Golden Knights are on the golf course and learning the names of new players that came in. I really hope that's not the case, but people got a lot of faith right now in next season. So WTF, that's where I'm going to start my conversation. Next up, I'll give Tony and the rest of the Golden Knight Nation a WTF, the goon talk. We need a goon. We need a Ryan Reeves. Rempe is not necessarily the goon, but when your team is starting to talk about needing that goon out there in the playoffs, it usually bodes well for your team being out of the playoffs soon. And then one more real fast here. So Fox put this out there. In a period of 6 hours, there was 600. What was the number they put out there again? What was the number? In a period of 6 hours, 77 people ran a red light at the intersection of 215 and Green Valley Parkway, I believe.
Yeah.
So that averages out to be 12.8 an hour. Let's just say there's 50 intersections around the valley that cross over 15 and 95 and 215 and 90 and 11 and all that. That means in an average per hour, there are 600 red lights being blown in this city.
Jesus.
Now, let's talk about Trop and Colville or Las Vegas Boulevard and Flamingo and all these other major intersections. There are probably over 1,000 to 1,200 people on average per hour running red lights. Whether red light cameras are the answer, however we get there, I know that infringes on people's privacy and people get all weird about that. Fine, whatever. But point being is that's a problem. That's a problem. And, be careful out there, guys. It's driving in the city is an absolute poop show and a half. And stay safe and stop running red lights and put your ding-dang phone down as well while we're talking about it while you're driving. WTF.
Back to hockey. Leon Draisaitl last night in the face-off circle, he won 8 of 29 face-offs. 8 of 29 face-offs last night. WTF.
Now, Block, you're my man lately, but you can't keep running Draisaitl out there for you going 8 for 29. Who was he out there against? Who was winning? Was it Wyatt? Was it?
I don't remember.
Rupe's not playing. Jamie Benn taking face-offs.
I couldn't tell you. I should have.
I'll tell you while you do your next WTF.
Okay, WTF. NHL hockey. Right through a couple of rounds, they say that viewing is up.
I saw that
up 12% average, and that is they're averaging more than 1.5 million viewers. WTF? Wake up! I mean, this is still sport number 4, ready to dip to sport number 5, because Caitlin Clark, her opening game was 2.1 million, and you're getting 1.5 for the manly man sport. Wake up, fans. Turn on your TV. Tell
Jamie
us who
Benn
Draisaitl was up against in the face-off circle. WTF.
Jamie Benn goes 12 wins, 4 losses. Pavelski 3-5. Wyatt Johnson goes 8-8. And how about this one? Tyler Seguin wins 12, loses 4. So
Seguin mostly, right? That was just whipping him.
Yeah, so who was doing well in the face-off circle? McDavid goes 6 for 10. Like Evander Kane was 1-0. Give him more chances, I guess.
Yes, more chances for Kane.
Sam Carrick goes 7-4. But that's the thing. Let's look at the minutes. Leon Draisaitl, 20. He had overtime, so that this is maybe not a great stat. But Draisaitl gets 25 minutes yesterday. McDavid gets 27 minutes yesterday. So yeah.
When they really wanted to turn it on, we saw them put Draisaitl and McDavid on that same line. And then, of course, we saw the end result at the end. WTF. We've got a couple from our listeners and viewers from @that guy _ guy 448. The Golden Knights didn't get a deep run this year, so I'm pulling almost 3 straight weeks of night shifts to make up for it. And then the follow-up was my 3-week run of night shifts lasted longer than the Knights playoff run. WTF. Let's bring
all the money you're making.
WTF. This is from @xreb_fanx, one of my favorite fans. WTF. Does Tony Dasco think of Kreider complaining about bad ice conditions? I mean, he goes on tirades about it when anyone attached to VGK comments on ice conditions. Figured him being Mr. Objectivity, he would blast Kreider for it. WTF. Yeah, I'm going to blame that series game 1 loss on the bad ice conditions in New York. I'm so mad, and I should have made mention of that in our recap. One more WTF.
Shut up, Tony.
my canine friend. They all like me out there, Mr. Objectivity, if you want to give me a nickname, folks. WTF, T-Mobile. This is from Dart Tommy 774. T-Mobile should get some old ladies to do a dance number at the Dragon stage and call them the Golden Girls. Slow news day. WTF. I called the goalies the goalie nights, so it is a slow news day. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. Please, please, please drive safely out there. I know a lot of you folks will be on the roadways this weekend.
Don't run red lights.
Have a really safe, most importantly, Memorial Day weekend, and remember what the holiday stands for. And please make sure not to drink and drive. Do not do that on our roadways. You would get the Gallic Cardasco smackdown if we catch you doing that. Of course, we're taking Monday off. It's barbecue time, especially in the Gallic residency there. In the residence, not residency. It's Vegas, so you could have a residency at home. And of course, for me, I'll be broadcasting some high school games, some AAU games. That's my weekend. I'm going to have fun. So will all of you. We appreciate you tuning in. For my man, Chris Golick, I am Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. Be safe out there once again. And this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, we appreciate you again. And please take care.